Hi everyone, today in our Soulful Slow Flow, we're going to be moving as if we are moving through honey, slowly, steadily, and feeling every movement within the body. You may need 2 blocks, a bolster or a blanket, whatever your preference is, and a strap today. And we'll get started. So today we're going to get started coming into a supported fish pose. So you can come into this pose a couple different ways. You can take your blocks and take 1 block onto the highest height and then 1 block onto the middle height. One's going to be right underneath your head, right at the base of your skull. And then the other one is going to be right underneath your shoulder blades, but right before you go into any of the ribs. So it's going to be right in that little sweet spot there. So you can do your blocks like this. If this is going to be a really intense opening for you, you can also lower your blocks down. So you can put the one underneath your head at the middle height, and then the one underneath your shoulder blades on the lowest height. So you can play with that for a little bit. And if you want to use a bolster or a blanket, you're just going to take it long against your spine. So you're going to bring it long ways on the mat, and then bring it to the base of the spine, and then lay down on it. So whichever variation you find works for your body today. We're going to take this time to lay down onto the blocks with bolster or the blanket. Taking some time to settle in this space. As we release the arms to the sides, palms face up, allowing the shoulders to come down towards the mat. Savoring the slowness. Releasing the busyness that we fill our lives with on a daily basis. And just allowing ourselves to fully be present. Feeling the breath within your body. As you breathe in, filling the belly, sides of the ribs, lungs, throat. And as you exhale, releasing fully back out through the nose, slowly, steadily. You have nowhere to be but here. If you have an intention you'd like to set for your practice today, starting to envision that intention, the space in between your eyebrows. Directing breath into that intention, allowing it to be filled with life and energy. On your next inhale, start to slowly blink the eyes open and either roll off to the side or lift yourself off of your blocks. as we release the blocks or the bolster or blanket, whatever you have, and then come to lay all the way down onto your back. Bringing the right knee into your chest. We're going to flex through both feet, keeping the left leg secured to the mat. And your arms can come out to the sides here in either a goalpost or a T shape. Your right leg is going to be at a 90-degree angle, so your ankle is going to be in line with your knee, knee in line with your hip. We're going to start to slowly come into circles here. You can move to the right first or the left, doesn't matter. Keeping the sits bones lowered down towards the ground as we come into these full circles like we're churning butter. Just noticing what's happening within your body here. Without judgment. Just creating awareness around the sensation. And moving in the opposite direction, once you've come back to center. Breathing into the spaces, sending little love notes into the spots of the body, parts of the body that are opening, lengthening. And bringing your right knee back in towards your chest. We're going to take our right hand and place it onto the inside of your right thigh and start to open that leg up and out to the side. Trying to keep the left side down onto the mat. You can take your left hand, place it onto your left hip bone here, if that helps you. And on your next inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale, we're going to take the right knee and bring it to the outside of the left hip, coming into the supine twist. Right arm lengthens out to the side. Left hand can stay out to the side as well, or it can come on top of your right leg. Head can stay straight, or you can look towards the right fingertips. You can also close your eyes here, creating an internal roadmap of the body. And coming back to center with that right leg. We're going to exhale, bring it long to the mat, and then bring the left knee into the chest. Moving over to the opposite side, so coming into that 90-degree bend in your left leg. And then from here, starting to churn your butter. And making sure that both feet are flexed here, helping to engage the muscles. Noticing that as we move slowly, we can feel more within the body. And what I mean by creating that internal roadmap is that we notice what's happening around us all the time. A lot of times our focus is on the external world. And moving in the opposite direction with your circles. And so coming inward and starting to map out what you feel in certain places of the body. helps you to gain that body awareness that we tend to really not focus on. Taking another circle here. Bringing the left knee back into the chest. We're going to take the left hand, place it on the inside of the left thigh, and open that left leg out to the side. Again, you can place your right hand onto the inside of your hip here if you need that counterweight. Creating that awareness within the body, creating that internal roadmap helps us to notice when we need certain poses for certain parts of the body, when we need rest, when we need exercise, energy. Listening to what our body needs within the moment. Bringing that left knee back in towards the chest. We're going to come into our twist here. So right hand can come to the outside of the left leg as we roll to the outer edge of our right hip. Left arm extends out. Left shoulder comes down towards the ground. Inhaling, bringing the left knee back into the chest. We're going to bring the right leg into the chest as well, hugging them both open. And then rolling over to one side, gently bringing yourself up into your tabletop position, facing the top of the mat. And bringing those knees apart and toes, big toes together to touch behind you. We're going to pull back into a wide-legged child's pose. Lengthening the arms out in front of your forehead, releases down towards the mat. Breathing in through the tips of the fingers, the length of the arms, the openness of the shoulders, upper back, neck. Breathing out, releasing, letting go, softening through the spaces. Inhaling, starting to lift the head off of the ground. We're going to keep our legs exactly how they are. Walking the hands slightly forward so they're not directly underneath the shoulders. And we're going to start to move into hip circles here. So you start to pull your chest forward, over to the right, and then pull back into your child's pose. Pulling over to the left, and then chest pulls forward again. Just moving in these slow, steady circles. And you can come into your Ujjayi breath here, letting your breath be your anchor in these slow movements. Inhaling through the nose, slightly restricting the back of the throat. As we breathe out, hearing that ocean-like sound. And once you've come back to center, we're moving the opposite direction. around here. And now bringing the knees underneath the hips, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, and coming into our tabletop. As we inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, and as you exhale, round through the spine. And just finding slow movements here. It's like you're moving through honey. Allowing your body to just feel whatever is happening right now. Good. And keeping yourself in your tabletop position, neutral spine, we're going to start to bring the right leg long behind us and tuck the toes so that we pull the heel back. Feeling that long length in your hamstrings. Good. And we'll take that right leg and start to cross it over to the left side, to the corner of your mat. And then look back behind you over your left shoulder. While still pulling that heel back behind you. Notice what you feel on the right side of your body. And coming back to center, right knee comes back underneath the hip. We'll move over to the other side. Left leg is long behind you. Pull the heel back, feeling the hips start to gently pull back a little bit as well. And we'll start to take that left leg and cross it over the right. Looking over the right shoulder and back. What do you feel in the left side of your neck, left side of your rib cage, hips? And come back to center. We'll walk the hands slightly forward, coming into our first downward facing dog. Lifting the hips, lifting the tailbone. Finding your movements here, maybe pedaling the feet. Moving the hips from side to side. Rolling the shoulders back. And looking in between the hands, we're going to walk the feet up to meet the hands. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. One more time. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. And you can keep your hands on the ground. Maybe you want to grab opposite elbows here. Release the back of the neck. Any distractions from the outside world, anything that your mind is trying to attach to that is not of this moment. Just allowing it to melt out of the mind, down into the ground below. I am here in this moment, in this breath. Releasing the hands back down as we inhale, rolling up the spine. Taking your time to come up to standing. Once you come up to standing, we'll do some shoulder rolls here. Inhale, shoulders come up to the ears. Exhale, roll them down the back. Inhale, shoulders rise. Exhale, roll them down. Inhale, shoulders rise. And exhale, bring them back down. Ankles are going to come together as we move into Ardha Chandrasana, standing half moon pose. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead. Fingertips are going to interlace. First two fingers point up to the sky, and thumbs are crossed. Inhale, lengthen through the sides of the body. And as we exhale, we're going to lean over to the left side. Your left hip bone can come slightly forward here as we roll the right shoulder back behind the ear. Inhale, coming back up through center. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to take our right leg and bring it back behind us as we move to face the right side of the mat. So we're going to move into goddess pose here. So your toes are going to come towards the short edges of your mat. You're going to bend in your knees, release your tailbone down towards the ground. Hands can stay at heart center, or you're going to bring your hands out into a goalpost shape. And you can gently sway from side to side here. Feel the breath come all the way to the belly, releasing the tailbone down towards the earth. Good, and then from here, we're going to start to straighten through the legs. Right toes are going to come sideways as we straighten through the left leg. So we're going to have a heel to arch alignment in the feet, coming into triangle pose. So your left hand is going to reach forward, pull the hips slightly back, and then either bring that left hand onto the inside or the outside of your ankle. Maybe grab one of your blocks here if you'd like. And then right hand comes straight up to the sky. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, gently twist that lower rib up to the sky. Feel the hips and the crown of the head come in the same line. Good. And from here, we're going to come into pyramid pose. So you're going to do a slight bend in the front knee, bring the hands down to frame the left foot. Start to bring your right toes to point forward. So you may need to walk your foot in a little bit so that the whole sole of the foot touches the ground. And then start to straighten through that left leg again. As we inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold over the front leg. And so with sun salutations, we use those to help energize the body. And with moon salutations, we use them to help us cool and calm the body. From here, we're going to bring the right knee down to the mat, so bending that front knee again as we move into low lunge or Anjaneyasana. You can keep your hands on the ground here, or you can start to bring them heart center or up to frame the ears. Finding your variation. Right hip pulls forward to meet the left. You can think about the top of your right thigh and the inside of your left thigh coming in towards each other. And these are poses that we don't normally spend a lot of time in. We usually use them as transition postures. Low lunge, triangle. So just taking your time here. Just allowing yourself to feel this posture, this shape. And as you exhale, release the hands down. Your left foot is going to come to the outside of your left hand. Toes are going to come to point towards the edge of the mat. And then you're going to tuck your right toes under, lift your back knee, and bring that right foot forward so that it's on the outside of your right hand coming into yogi squat or malasana. Hands come to heart center. Elbows are on the insides of the knees, gently opening through the hips here. Feeling the heart opening towards the thumbs as we bring the shoulders down and away from the ears. Bringing the hands down towards the ground. We're going to bring the right foot back into the center and then bring that left leg back behind us, coming into a low lunge on the opposite side. So again, finding your variation here. Not thinking of where we're going next. Being fully here. Okay, then bringing the hands down onto the ground. We're going to tuck the left toes under, lift that back knee, and start to walk the left foot forward until you can feel the sole of the foot touch the ground as we lengthen through the front leg. We're going to move into pyramid pose again. Inhale, crown the head reaches forward, and exhale, fold here. If you want to grab your blocks, then place your hands on your blocks here. You are more than welcome to do that. Feeling the alignment of your hips. Feeling the evenness of your feet. Pressing against the mat. And slightly lifting, bring a slight bend into the right knee. We're going to bring our left toes to point sideways so that we come back into our triangle pose. So you can come back up and get yourself back into triangle, or you can bring the right hand onto the ground and come straight in from your pyramid. So again, notice, just play within your body, feel what works for you today. Squeezing the shoulder blades together behind you, finding openness within the lungs. And inhaling, coming up and finding your goddess pose facing the opposite side of the mat that you did before. Toes come out to the sides, opening through the hips, releasing the tailbone down, and maybe coming into your low post arms or hands to heart center. Maybe moving from side to side, feeling that nice warm energy, that slowness of the honey. Moving through honey, slow and steady. And straightening through the legs. We're going to come back up to the top of the mat, bring both feet up there. Ankles are together. Inhale, arms rise up and overhead, fingers interlace, First two fingers point up to the sky, thumbs are crossed. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, lean over to the right side. Finding your little adjustments. What's great about holding postures is that we can make little adjustments within the posture itself, bringing life and energy into the pose. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, hands to heart center. And come into your strong, steady mountain. Doing 3 more shoulder rolls here. Inhale, shoulders rise. Exhale, release them down the back. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, rise. And exhale, release down. As we inhale, arms rise up and overhead. And as we exhale, forward fold. And you can widen your stance here. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. This time we're going to interlace our fingers behind the back and bring those arms up and overhead. And you can bend as much as you need to in your knees here. Every inhale, lengthening the crown of the head down towards the ground. Every exhale, allowing the shoulders to release as we bring the hands a little closer to the ground. One more cycle of breath here. And as you exhale, releasing the hands, bring them down towards the mat. We're going to step back into our downward facing dog. From our down dog, we're going to move in wave-like motions between our downward facing dog and our plank. So as you inhale, moving into your plank, and you can tuck the chin a little bit as you pull forward, lengthening through the back of the neck, and then reaching the crown of the head forward as you move into your plank. Pull the heels back behind you, bend in the knees, lift the hips as you pull back into your downward facing dog. Just creating these wave-like motions within the body as you move and flow between these two. What do you notice? What do you feel? Taking another wave. Coming back into your downward facing dog. We're going to walk the hands back towards our feet. Coming to the back of the mat here. As we inhale, lift halfway, keep your hands on the ground. And as you exhale, lift the heels, bend in the knees, and fold. Inhale, come halfway, bring the heels back down to the ground. And exhale, lift the heels, bend in the knees, fold. One more time here. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. On your next inhale, you're going to lift halfway. We're going to walk the feet out to the edges of the mat again, toes point slightly out to the sides. We're going to come back into Malasana. This time we're going to move into some binding. So if you want, you can bring your strap with you here. And we're going to twist and bind. So with this bind, we're going to first lift the left hand up to the sky. And maybe you stay here, just feeling this opening here today, bringing that left knee out and away from the body. And if you want to practice and come into the bind with this strap, you can take that strap, keep it in your right hand as you wrap that right arm around the front of your right shin so that your palm is facing out. Your left hand's going to wrap around the body, and you can grab onto that strap that is in your right hand here. If you don't have a strap, you can just grab onto your shirt, or maybe your hands can come together here. So working within this bind, just feeling something different within the body than we normally do within this pose, while still maintaining the integrity of the basics of this posture. So feeling that left knee come out and away from the body. It's probably going to want to collapse a little more while you come into this bind, so really be mindful of that. Good. Take another breath here. And we'll start to unwind, release that bind if you have it, and we'll lift the hips, lengthen through the legs. And you can pedal the knees back and forth here a little bit. And move over to the opposite side. So bending in those knees again. And taking the strap, placing it in your left hand. As you wrap the left arm around the front of your left shin. And then your right arm's going to reach up to the sky. You can stay right here. Or start to bring that right hand around the back, reaching for the strap or your shirt. Keeping the tailbone rooting down towards the ground. A lot of different and new feelings within the body to explore here. New sensations. Take another breath. And exhale, unwind, come back to center. Lengthening through the legs again. Good. Coming back into Malasana. We're going to walk the hands forwards and move into frog pose from here. So this is a fun little transition. We're going to walk the hands forward, bring the insides of the knees down, and then your toes are going to point towards the outside edges of the mat. So your toes are going to be in line with the ankles, and your knees are probably going to be right at the edges of the mat, maybe even a little more out to the sides. So you can stay right here on your hands. If you want, you can start to come down onto your forearms. And from here, if you would like to go a little further, you can start to pull the hips back behind you. So find what feels good. Find what feels appropriate within your body today. As we open through the hips, you may notice that other areas of the body start to tense up. Maybe your shoulders or the back of your neck are starting to create tension. So as you inhale, lengthening through the back of the neck, bring the shoulders back. And exhaling, softening through each and every space. Good. And bringing the big toes together to touch behind you. You can bring your knees in a little closer if you want. And we're going to pull back into that wide-legged child's pose again. Closing the eyes, noticing what thoughts are moving around in the mind. And acknowledging those thoughts, knowing that they're there, not trying to push them away, but instead creating awareness around them. And then releasing your attachment from them as you come back into your breath, back into your body, creating that internal roadmap. As you inhale, lifting the forehead. If this feels okay for you, you can keep your legs exactly as they are. If this has been pretty intense for you, you can bring the knees underneath the hips. So whatever feels best for you. We're going to come to thread the needle. So as you inhale, lift the right arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, thread that arm behind the left. Right shoulder comes down onto the mat. Right ear reaches down to the ground. Pressing into your left hand. You can feel the length of your spine as you inhale. You can feel the right rib cage roll up to the sky as you exhale. Savor the slowness. Inhaling, unwinding, coming back through center. And we'll move to the other side. The left arm reaches up. And exhale, thread it through. Fill our days with this perpetual state of busyness, not giving ourselves the time to just relax and be fully present. So giving ourselves this time now. And as you inhale, come back up through center. And then from here, we're going to bring those knees together. And bring the feet out in front of us as we come into a seated forward fold. Pulling the flesh out from underneath the hips. As we inhale, arms rise. And as we exhale, forward fold. If you want, you can use that strap again by placing it on the outside of the feet. Bringing it into both hands. And as you inhale, feeling the heart pull towards the toes, and as you exhale, fold. And if you are using the strap, noticing how this feels different in your body than when you use your hands to try to reach the feet. Maybe you notice a different movement. Way in which you are arriving within the posture. Inhaling, coming back up to center. And we'll start to walk the feet up to the top of the mat. And make sure you grab one of your blocks or your bolster, your blanket on the way down, so that's handy for you. As we come all the way down onto our backs, we're going to make our way into a bridge pose, bringing the heels in towards the glutes, touching the heels with your fingertips, walking the shoulders underneath the back. And as we inhale, lift up through the hips and heart center, Rooting down through the soles of the feet. Slight tuck of the chin, lengthening through the back of the neck. On your next inhale, lifting up onto the toes. As we exhale, gently release back down. Feeling every movement within the body. And you can gently windshield wiper the legs back and forth here. And taking your block or whatever you have and placing it underneath the sacrum. So if you have your bolster or blanket, you can just place it a long ways and start to bring that block on the lowest height. Lifting the feet off of the ground and lengthening the toes up to the sky, coming into a supported shoulder stand here. You can close your eyes, softening through the muscles of the face. As we release the shoulders down towards the mat. As we hold this pose, you may notice that you feel a slight tingling in your toes and your feet, and that is natural in this posture. Bringing awareness to the sensation, directing your breath into those areas. As you exhale, you start to gently release the feet back down towards the mat, releasing your prop, just allowing the legs to go long as we move into our Shavasana. Bringing our gaze fully inward as we absorb all the benefits of this beautiful practice. Bring more breath into the body as we gently move through the fingers and the toes. When you're ready, making your way over to one side. And coming up into your comfortable seated position. Hands at heart center, eyes closed. Taking our practice off of the mat today and enjoying the little moments that come up. Savoring the slowness of the here and now to find more joy and contentment throughout our day. Thank you for sharing in this practice. The light within me honors and sees the light within you. Namaste.